Good morning friends, welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss basics of loop in detail. So I request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. In the last few videos, I have discussed about simple if else if ladder and nested if statements. If you have observed the if else, we'll have if test expression and certain number of statements. Else we'll have certain number of statements. If the test expression is true, what are the statements which belongs to the if block will be executed only once. Similarly, if the test expression is false, the statements which are there in the else block will be executed once. So, if I want to execute a certain number of statements based on the condition is true or false, then I will go for the if else condition, if else, or I can say generalized as conditional statements. But if I want to execute a certain statements for multiple number of times, that is not possible using the conditional statements. So we will go for the loops. So loops allows us to execute a single statement or multiple statement for various number of times. Okay, is it clear? A group of statements or a single statement multiple times. So a loop should have the entry session, exit session. Am I right? Because when you want to exit, suppose if I say multiple number of times, it should be finite. Am I right? I don't want to run a loop for infinite number of times. Is it clear? Suppose if I want to run a loop for 100 number of times, then I have to count from starting 1 and I need to go up to 100. Once it reaches to 100, I need to stop that loop. Am I right? So you will have an entry section where I is equal to 1. Suppose let's take that you are running a loop based on the variable I. So you will initialize I is equal to 1. So that is the entry of the loop. And then exit when I is less than or equal to 100. Okay, that is the exit session you want to keep. Then you need to increment the I value. So every loop will have the initialization, conditional checking, and then increment or decrement. Is it clear? So based on that one, based on condition, when you are checking the condition, the loops are classified into two types. One is the precondition loops and another one is the post condition loops. Now look at this one. What is meant by precondition loop is that before entering the statement, suppose let's take that you have a condition. Okay, you have a condition. If the condition is true, you want to execute the statement. Suppose let's take that you have some 4 statements are there. Okay, if the condition is fail, you need to come out from the loop. So whenever the condition is true, you will execute the statements and again you will verify it. Okay, you will have a precondition. If the condition is true, you will execute the statements. After executing the statements, again you will check the condition. Again, if the condition is true, you will execute the statements. So when the condition is fail, you will stop execute the statements and you will come out from the loop. So this is what precondition loop. Before executing the statements, you will verify whether the condition is true or false. But coming to the post condition loops, you will execute the statement. Suppose you have statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, statement 4. Then you will have a condition. So first time you will execute the statements. If the condition is true, the condition can be either true or false. If the condition is true, again you will execute the statements. If the condition is false, you will come out from the loop and what are the statements after the loop is there, you will execute them. So this is like, suppose let's take that you are going for a movie theater. Usually what they will do, you need to collect the or you need to purchase the ticket, then they will punch the ticket and then they will allow you to watch the movie. That is what the precondition means. Before entering into the movie, they will verify whether you have purchased the ticket or not. If you have purchased the ticket of the particular date, particular show, then they will allow you to watch the movie. If you did not purchase it or if you purchased for another day, then also they will not allow. Is it clear? But here, first they are allowing you to watch the movie, then they are checking the condition whether you have purchased the ticket for this date and for this show. By this time the person will watch the movie and he will go. Even if he does not purchase, maximum you can keep a fine on him. Is it clear? So that is the meaning of precondition loop and postcondition loop. In C programming language, it supports both the precondition loops and postcondition loops. In C programming language, we have for loop, while loop, and do while loop. The for loop and while loop comes in the category called precondition. Okay, before executing the statements, it will verify whether the condition is true or false. Whereas do while loop will come into the category called post condition loop. Okay, but however, in Python, because we are talking about the Python programming language, in Python we have only precondition loops. So Python supports only for loop and while loop. Python does not support the do while loop. Is it clear? So now let me discuss about a while loop and for loop a little bit. In the next video, I will discuss in detail about them. Now for loop usually will have like this: for a variable, okay, you will have a for as a keyword, okay, you will have variable in sequence. Okay, that sequence can be a list, or it can be a tuple, or it can be a range. All these things we will discuss in the next video. Then you will keep the column, and then indentation will start. The indentation plays a major role. Okay, what are the statements you want to execute if the condition is true? Those statements you have to write here after the indentation. Is it clear? When it comes to the while loop, you will have while, you will have a condition, okay, and then what are the statements you want to execute if the condition is true? You will write them. So Python supports for loop and while loop. This is the syntax for the while loop. You will have a while is a keyword, then you will have a condition or test expression, and you will have a column. If the condition is true, whatever the statements you want to write, once you enter the column and press the enter, automatically the IDE supports the indentation. Okay, it will give 4 character space, and then it will start. The cursor will be there here. Whatever the statements you are writing, it will be there here. Once you want to stop the indentation, you can press the backspace, it will go here. Is it clear? So whatever the statements you want to write after the while loop, you can write here. Whereas in the for loop, you have for keyword, variable in sequence. That sequence can be a tuple, or it can be a list, or it can be a range, and then you will have a certain statements. Okay, so the indentation plays a major role. When it comes to the C programming language, we will have the curly braces to say the boundaries. Suppose let's take that while condition. In C programming language, you will have while condition, okay, and then you will have certain statements. Is it clear? Are you able to understand? Similarly, for the for loop, you will have for initialization, you will have semicolon, you will have the condition, and then you will have the increment or decrement session, and then you will have the curly braces. Within the curly braces, you will provide the certain statements. So this is the difference between the C programming language and Python with respect to the loops. In the next video, I will discuss in detail about the while loop, syntax, and then I will discuss the one program for you. Similarly, I will discuss the same for the for loop. If you still have any doubts related to the loops, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.